Hi, this is Dee over at Aloha Astro. A little update on my site. I have added this new bar across the top for scheduling appointments. It makes it easier so you don't have to scroll through and find the forms to fill in. Also, let's take a look now over at planetwatcher.com and see what's going on today and tomorrow. Today we had the planet Mercury turn direct. Today is September 5th. I have September 6th up here to look at the full moon tomorrow. But Mercury has gone direct, and many of you, I'm sure, are aware and are breathing a sigh of relief. But maybe you're wondering, how come things don't feel that much different yet? Well, they may not feel that much different until we see Mercury go back into the sign of Virgo. It was in Virgo, and then it re-entered Leo. And now it's going to go back into Virgo again. That will happen on the 10th. And while it is joined here very closely with Mars, which just switched signs from Leo to Virgo, I believe it was today that Mars made its switch over. We have this little do-si-do going on with the energy of Mercury and Mars. And I think this can make us a little bit shaky. Maybe we don't have our sea legs quite in terms of are we feeling more Virgo? Are we feeling more Leo? What's up? And should we act on impulses, or should we slow down and take a look at our methods and be a little more deliberate? And of course, we have the added intensity of the full moon in the mutable water sign of Pisces. Pisces is an intuitive sign, a very sympathetic sign, also artistic, inspirational, healing. Excuse me while I turn that off. The ruling planet of Pisces is Neptune, and we have the full moon joining Neptune, so we kind of have a double helping of Pisces energy as the moon joins the ruling planet for that sign. So we may go to greater extremes of imagination, escapism, or inspiration. Some of the other energies of Pisces are that of victim, savior, or martyr. So Pisces wants to beautify, heal, or inspire, as does the planet Neptune. And the full moon sometimes brings things to a head. Take a look in your life at whatever areas that you have either been neglecting in terms of healing, beauty, inspiring for yourself or toward other people, or if you've been out of balance in the other direction and giving too much and overgiving and basically harming by helping too much, it may be time to pull back and realize that sometimes it is better to allow people to help themselves, or to give them the tools they need or the information they need to be able to help themselves, rather than being the helper who doesn't allow the other person to find their way on their own. We have primarily favorable aspects at this time. There is a loose grand trine in here with the planet Uranus in Aries, which looks for changes and new beginnings, and Saturn in Sagittarius, which is looking for the higher road or the way to establish something that reaches toward the future with high ideals, and also with Mercury right now in Leo, joining the North Node down here in the sign of Leo. So looking to speak out toward some sort of a change, or to put your plans into action. And if you have been holding back on doing things while waiting for Mercury to go direct, it is now time to look toward that. I would recommend waiting until the full moon finally releases. Wait for a couple of days after that full moon. I find that usually around the second or third day after a full moon, things come to their fullness, or the dust settles, and that call you've been waiting for, or the person you need to meet, or whatever it is that you've been very emotionally invested in at the full moon, will come to some sort of a conclusion, or you'll see the results a few days afterwards when everything calms down. This little aspect pattern here with Jupiter making a sextile to Saturn and a sextile here to Mercury also helps us in getting along well with other people. The squares here are diminishing. They are not affecting us quite as strongly as they were in the last few months, as we have the Jupiter and Pluto square diminished, and we have the square between Saturn and Neptune also not quite as strong. There can still be some residual energy going on there with those squares. Squares are activations. They cause us to work harder and to scratch the itch where the planets may not be in agreement. Very often with a Neptune-Saturn square, we have to let something go in order to make something real. And with a Jupiter-Pluto square, this can intensify the desire for more of something, and to the detriment of balance in relationship or harmony with other people. So those might have been issues that came up that should now be passing. And let's take a look at the Sabian symbol for the moon, which will be at 13 degrees 53 minutes. So we round it up to 14 degrees. Pisces, 14 degrees. A lady wrapped in a large stole of fox fur. The use of intelligence and mental subtlety as a protection against storms and trials. Coming just after the preceding symbols and as the fourth stage of a fivefold sequence, which is usually related to some kind of technique, this symbol may at first seem irrelevant. The key to its interpretation, missed by the commentators, is fox fur. In symbolism and mythology, the fox is always a clever and subtle animal. It represents the intellect at its early stage of cunning. In a broader sense, it also refers to intelligence, considered as the ability to adapt to any and all life situations. Spiritual will and the ability to stand in facing tests are necessary in any crucial or challenging situation that an individual meets within a power-oriented group. But the sword-like will often has to be shielded, and intelligence or acumen can be the most precious help in danger. It is a personal, i.e. animal or instinctual shield, perhaps even a camouflage. It hides the central will, but it keeps the individual from unnecessary hardships. What we see symbolized here is a self-protective way of meeting the inclemencies of weather, actual or psychic, which abound as one leads a life consecrated to a vaster whole. For this very consecration arouses strong enmities. Unnecessary risks are forbidden to the initiate, for the security of the brotherhood might be endangered. The need for protective shielding is imperative, and glamour can be an effective shield. So that is the Sabian symbol. What came into my mind when I was reading through this was a ceremony, a Native American ceremony that I had attended, where a dance was done and the dancers were wearing animal skins that cloaked them or covered them, and as they danced they embodied or took on the qualities of the animals and came to the people who were watching the dance and interacted with them, so that we could also experience the energy of the animal. If you've ever read the book Animal Speak, then you would also know something about totem animals and the energy that particular animals carry, and when we see them repeatedly, they may be bringing us messages. So perhaps with the Sabian symbol that is present for this full moon, we should look at the symbolism of the fox, or study the symbolism of the fox, or perhaps look at what our own instinctual or native intelligence is in terms of other kingdoms, such as the animal kingdom. Interestingly, Pisces energy rules the 12th house of the zodiac, and this is a house of other planes of existence. It is also where we lose our boundaries and we merge with the collective consciousness, or all that is. So the whole realm of fantasy, imagination, faith, visions, things of that nature falls under the 12th house and Pisces rulership. So play around, meditate, think about alternative ways of thinking, feeling, or being, or get out in nature and connect with the energies that are there. When I do my new moon or full moon fires, I call upon the overlighting divas of the land or the property, and I call upon the ancestors that I feel are still with us here in consciousness at the very least. Maybe they are not here physically, but they are still here on a spiritual level. They are connected. They came before us and they are still connected to us. So as you contemplate this full moon, go beyond your normal boundaries. Look further. Get out in nature if you are able to. Get near water if you are able to maximize the intensity of this full moon in the mutable water sign of Pisces. Be open and flexible and trust your intuition. Don't censor yourself. Whatever comes through, trust it. So that's it, and a safe and happy and healthy full moon to everybody.